Okay, bear with me for a second because something happened over a month ago and I forgot to talk about it, but it's even more relevant now. Recently, at the end of May, Moody, the major credit assessment company, reevaluated and downgraded the US credit rating for the first time in history. Now, what does that mean? It means that they have, for the first time in history, considered the US as potentially not being able to repay its debts. This ultimately has a cascading effect on many things like the stock market, on bonds and tax ratings, and ultimately how the government's going to make up that debt. And the reason why this sounds boring but is actually very important is because Moody has consistently rated the US as essentially risk free in its debt since it first issued its rating in 1917, which means that they maintained this rating even throughout the Great Depression, World War II, and the Great Recession in 2008. But now, with Donald Trump at the helm again, he's screwing up the economy, he's raising prices, he's fucking with the stock market, and the dollar is not being seen as reliable anymore. Like I said, this is affecting many things, from your credit card ratings to mortgage rates to taxes to loans and interest rates. And again, it started affecting people's retirement savings through stock market volatility. Higher financing costs may lead businesses to delay hiring or investment and slowing economic growth. People always like to remind us that two back-to-back periods of negative GDP growth in this country is a good sign, but not the ultimate be-all end-all that we are headed for a recession. And as of the first quarter of this year, the US is in the negative. It says the US government now faces higher interest payments on its own debt, and that pressure will lead to higher taxes or cuts in government spending, which they've already done, except they've made tax cuts for the wealthy, raising taxes on us, and getting rid of government spending in the terms of getting rid of people's benefits. So this is just going to make the Republicans further claim that they need to cut even more from Medicaid on top of the trillion they cut. Meanwhile, they gave ICE more money than most countries spend on their national defense, and this is just going to make life harder for all of us. And this is once again not just because we are being led by the worst cabinet in history, but by the worst president in history, according to historians and economists, who is a multiple-time failed businessman, a con man fraudster, somebody who filed for bankruptcy multiple times, bankrupted several casinos, and wants to run the United States like one of his failed businesses. It's been 7 months of him in office, and we're well on the way to becoming his next failed business. And for those people in the back, need I remind you that under Joe Biden, we had the strongest economy in the G7. And millions of people in this country fucked us.